right there.
You're just gonna fillet this sucker right off the bone. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fish Out Northwest. Waiting on Tommy Donlin.
This is what you call a bait stop.
Drinking my buddy's homemade wine, living Northwest wild. Hunting, fishing is my kind of style. I float the Wainuchi when it gets hot. I'm proud I own the things that I've got.
Hello and welcome to Fish Out Northwest. Waiting on Tommy Donlin, coming to you live. Finally, back in studio,
finally.
huh?
I had to do some voice actuation warm-up activity right before walking into the studio.
Voice actuation warm-up prior to the studio, yes. Professional presentations. What you get here?
Now brown cows.
Yeah, all that stuff. You had that rolling out tonight. Hey, good to see you, man. It's been a few weeks.
Yes, it has.
Been a few weeks. See, it looks like you got a little sunshine on there.
I did. I got my tan on.
Yeah, well, we had a few things going on. I mean, we were out and about getting some fishing on. Glad everybody's jumping on here tonight and joining us. We got a lot of stuff going on. Lots to catch up on. Very lengthy show. Yeah, thanks, Ron. Good to see you guys jumping on here as well. Tons of content to catch up on. There is so much fishing going on, Tommy.
There is.
I really was kind of bummed that we were out of studio for so long, but we are back now to get on top of it. And before we do, hey, want to remind everybody, if you're just tuning in, be sure to spend some time over at our webpage, www.fishhuntnw.com. Check out our online store, get a bunch of new swag and whatnot. Loaded into there. Sherry's doing a fantastic job. We got some new decals and prints coming out. Tell me, some of that new tuna stuff is looking amazing, right? A lot more of that going on in the future. So, yes, please take some time, jump on over there, subscribe to that. Check out all our social media platforms. Do us a favor, get over there on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us build the numbers there as well. Big announcement coming tonight, by the way.
All right.
Oh, boy.
I'm waiting.
I know. So, and, excuse me, while you were there, on our webpage, go ahead and hit the Edge Rods FHN20 coupon. It's going to get you 20% off all rods all the time. $365, Thomas, as far as days in the year. As long as the rod is not already under some other reduction, price savings, coupon, or otherwise, you're going to save 20% on all rods you get through the FHN20. Enter the coupon code at checkout and you'll be just fine. So with that, man, you spent a little time on the east side there chasing some walleye.
I did. I became a walleye whisperer.
You are the walleye whisperer.
I don't know what happened.
You were
it was
crushing
like I had to change my mind for a week, and
you got a hold of some of the Max Lure slow death rigs.
I did.
And some small blades.
It all started with a call to Eric Brodden.
Yep.
Saying, hey, kind of worry me in the right direction here for walleye. Tell me what the story is.
Yeah.
Went and picked up about $40 worth of Max Lure, like the double cha-cha rig.
Thanks, Britain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Britain.
Thanks, Britain.
You know, the slow death hooks, the small blades, and started putting together rigs.
Yeah.
And we got out there, and you know, it was a learning process, right? Because I haven't walleye fished since college,
right?
And that was a different program. That was diving plugs, right?
Yeah.
So here we're talking, you know, bottom bouncers and smile blade rigs, and you know, first pass we got one, but it was like, okay, I see a boat over here, and there's like 15 walleye on that stringer.
Yeah.
So I know we can do better, right?
We can improve.
And then it was all about color. It had to be green and chartreuse.
Yeah,
if it wasn't, it didn't get bid.
How deep of water?
35 to 40 feet was the prime zone. That was the other thing we had to figure out.
How many ounces on your bottom?
2 to 3 ounces. Yep. Ran 4 rods.
Speed? 1?
Yep. Speed was 1.
Perfect.
We had to bring it down. We started at 1.5, had to bring it down to 1.
Yep.
And when we did that, they just started coming over the rail.
How about that?
It was crazy.
Well done.
Cutting the worms in half, threading them on that slow death hook.
It gets it done.
Putting it on the bottom. Game on.
Over there with the Max guys prior to us heading to Wyoming, which I'll get into later, we too did some walleye fishing. Those guys were roping, and we were going after kokanee and rainbows, and the weather, the wind, the rising water, a foot per day, the kokanee trout just weren't happening. But that walleye bite, dude, out of 7 days marina area, just nonstop.
Yeah.
We ate so much walleye, it was phenomenal.
Talking about a tasty fish, I think it's better than lingcod.
I think it is too.
I think it is.
I think it is too.
Yep.
You don't go after him for the fight.
No.
But you go after him for that table fare.
Right.
Anyway, all right, running down the show. We got a lot to get through, so we're going to get right to it. Tons going on here. Just returned from Lemon Gorge, Wyoming. How'd we do, Tommy? Well, things that we learned, and by the way, new friends and networking, what it can do for you got some hunting in the future, I'm telling you.
Amen.
Area 10 Resident Coho and Chinook opener today, the Chinook opener today anyway. Guest Matt Messin Around Fishing Charters will join us and get us up to date. We're going to talk Resident Coho, and we're going to talk how that Chinook bite was on this opening day that everybody was so looking forward to. Then, of course, we have a lot of openings and closings nonstop, Tommy. Things happening, opportunities, and also some sockeye madness. Got over there with the Brad's boys here last week as the sickness ensued, and boy, did we have a day there at Wanapum. It was unbelievable. Second half of the show, Bait Lab. Jumping in the Bait Lab. I have some techniques and tactics that I've used the last several years for Resident Coho, and I'm telling you, I am convinced that it's a game changer in some of these presentations that really do well for Resident Coho. So I'm going to break that down for folks tonight so you can see what it is I do. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of options to use. This is some things that I do, not that it's always right, but it is what I have confidence in. How about the ocean, Tommy? Lots of options there. What's hot? I mean, we got some discussions to go about on where things are fishing and some closures coming in that Area 1 boundary.
It's definitely more hot than not, though, so we're going to cover that.
It is more hot than not, so we'll get into that as well. We're going to close out the show. A little bit of a uptick tempo, rapid format, the reasons why, things happening around here at Fish Up Northwest, moving fast. We also have a prize pack to give away, which I failed to put on the desk, but we have a prize pack to give away. I'm sure Shing will bring that out here momentarily. Sponsored by Max Lure. Tons of stuff in there that you're going to want to get your hands on. So with that, we're going to jump out for a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We come back. Just getting back from Flaming Gorge here a couple weeks ago. What did we learn? What's it all about going on a destination Kokanee fishery? Is it worth dragging the boat 1,000 miles?
Yeah, it looked like it.
Stick around. We'll find out right after this break right here at Fish on Northwest. Defiance Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Defiance Marine guarantees the best price on a new and best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine is a boat dealer who proudly sells Defiance, Allied, and Arima boats. All boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Defiance Marine has all your boating needs to help you get out on the water.
If you're looking for the best fishing rods in the world, you really do need to take a look at the Edge rods. I designed and built new machinery, and I think this new machinery has enabled us to build blanks like no other company can build without this equipment. There is no other rods in the world that are as good as these rods. You owe it to yourself to take a good look at them.
For more than 90 years, you've entrusted one brand to guide you towards living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Now you can entrust affiliated Better Homes and Gardens real estate professionals to interpret your needs and help you find the home in which to live your dreams through every stage of your home buying or selling process. And through every stage of your life, there's Better Homes and Gardens real estate. Expect better.
All right, welcome back, Fish on Northwest. Wayne England, Tommy Donlan, back in studio. It just feels right.
I know,
Thursday night, we need to be here, right?
Amen.
As much as we can. So, hey, just returned from Flaming Gorge, so to speak, right before the 4th of July, and hopefully everybody had a great 4th of July, and now we're moving on through the month. We're already halfway through the month.
I know, it's crazy. It's
trying
flying.
to catch up. But, you know, is it worth dragging the boat 1,000 miles when diesel is $6.50 on average per gallon, right? 10 miles a gallon? It was a bit of a... You don't do it for the price, though, my friend, right? You do it because... Flaming Gorge is a destination, you know, Kokanee fishery that people want to experience. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have opportunity there to catch fish like no other. And this isn't one of those bumper crop years, man. The fishing is pretty tough. I'm looking on a few things right now, and it's starting to pick up a little bit. July is probably a better month to be there. But I called some serious guys who have game, in that arena. And they were advising me to leave the boat home. When you get done with the Max boys over there at Roosevelt, just leave the boat over there at Buddy Richie Harrod's and, head and go have family time. And I'm like, I don't know. Then I talked to Richie Hyatt out of Nevada, Reno, and he was going over there that week prior to me, and he's going to, hey, man, I'll pre-fish. We got a derby we're in. I'll let you know how it's going. And that guy's still dialed. I mean, he fishes this thing a couple times a year, and he is, owns a tackle company. And he was giving me good intel. And they were finding some fish, so he says, look, out there in front of buckboard where you like to fish, yeah, there's fish. You got to work for them. And gave me some specs, and it was pretty much falling in line with what Jordan and I were doing 2 years ago.
Okay.
Color pattern wise, pinks, orange, golds.
Yeah.
Depth of presentation, 18 to 22 feet.
So how'd it go? Day one, you're out there.
Day one, Shing and I went out there, and I'm just hunting and pecking and fighting a little bit of the weather. Was able to get the side planers out. Was able to run multiple rods. We could run at least 4. And so we got fish on the downrigger at like 15 to 18 feet, and we got fish on the side planers, which I put about a half-ounce weight on there, 150-foot setback. And depending on Dodger style and size, you're probably getting down about 15 to 18 feet as well. So, we didn't get any big kokanee. We got one kokanee that we kept because it was a bleeder, and it was like catching a kokanee at home. It was no big deal. Got some phenomenal rainbows, in that 3-4 pound range, got some big cutthroat, and some folks throw those back, but you only get 4 fish, of three of which could be kokanee. So if you get those trophy kokanee, that's what you want. But man, I don't throw back those big rainbows and those big cutthroat because they cut as red as those kokanee are. Well worth going after. And when fishing is kind of scratch fishing, you're trying to get what you can get. Because again, this isn't in our backyard. It's not like I got that thing wired. You're going to spend a day or two trying to dial it in.
And you did. So you spent 3 total days there. Kind of tell us like day 2, day 3, compare and contrast. What did you see?
So day 2, I went out there with a game plan. Had to go solo because we were there with family and whatnot too, and Sherry was busy. So I went out there solo, man. Launched the boat, got out there on the water, only fishing 2 rods, stuck with the downriggers, did far setbacks, 150 feet because I'm fishing shallow. Start in the morning, 15 and 18 feet. Never went deeper than 22. And I got that small kokanee first, and it was bleeding once again. That's a 16-inch kokanee. So I was like, well, that's a decent.
Small next to the other one.
Yeah. So, and then I got that rainbow, and I thought, well, I got to keep at least one rainbow, and it was kind of bleeding too. So I kept that, and that's an 18-inch rainbow.
Nice.
Those kokanee are 20 and 21 inches. And extremely girthy. And both those came in succession on the downriggers at 22 feet, one on one side, one on the other. One on orange with a gold blade, one on pink with a gold blade. The only change, really the significant change I made for day 2 was scent. I remembered from 2 years previous that squid and squid anise actually performed pretty well.
Really?
And I was using corn that I had scented up in...
I was going to say, those fish look corn fed.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
You would know it when you see it. So the corn scented up with shrimp and anise seemed to produce. So I went with my squid and anise corn, and I also put scent on my Dodgers with squid and and anise. Excuse me, and it seemed to work. It seemed to find those.
And then for you, was day 3 basically duplicating your results from day 2, or your same approach?
It was. Dang it. Other than excuse me.
I don't want you to tear up too bad. I know you're passionate about kokanee fishing.
Getting over this stuff. Other than weather. So I had we were taking 2 guests that we had met and become friends with there out of excuse me, Rock Springs, and Jessica and Casey. And we took them out, and I had a game plan, man. I'm going to run side planers. I'm running 7 rods. We're going to put out the gamut. And I know what colors, what presentation, troll speed, scent, depth, the whole deal. And all of a sudden the weather flipped that morning, man. We went out, we came back in. We were ducking thunderstorms and lightning storms, wind. It was terrible. Then we finally got back out there mid-morning and was able to get the gear out. We were running 7 rods, and we're going to show you that video next week, but found some success running 7 rods. The first fish we got, though, was in the morning in the nasty weather. Somehow we managed to hook into this 4-pound kokanee.
That's awesome.
On the 2 downriggers. I was crabbing sideways. Those, and that rod went off, and I grabbed it. It was a left-handed reel, and nobody wanted to step up and fight. I'm controlling the boat and fighting the fish. Jessica goes, I like left-handed reels. I'm like, okay, this is a pretty good fish, right? And she's like, oh boy. And then it kind of gave up the fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck's going on? Now, you got to keep in mind, the night before we had tremendous thunderstorms, downpours, lots of stuff in the reservoir, lots of debris, lots of tumbleweeds. So I'm thinking this fish got into a tumbleweed because now it's just dead weight.
Right.
So I pop the other rod, I get on the boat, we go towards the fish, she's collecting line, well, it ends up coming up backwards.
Tail wrapped,
and it came in backwards, but it was a 4-pound fish. Beautiful fish, made some new friends, got some
Sounds like a phenomenal trip.
Hunting to look forward to. We ended up bringing home a pretty good bounty of some nice kokanee, some nice rainbows, and some big cutthroat. Let me tell you, I mean, that is well worth dragging the boat 1,000 miles.
Amen. I love it.
I would like to get into more detail, but there's just too much info to cover and never enough time. But yeah, well worth it. You know, it's one of those destination fisheries that if you're a kokanee fisherman or a woman, if you're passionate about kokanee, you have to put Flaming Gorge on your list of things to do.
Right on.
Definitely worth going there and doing. So had a great time and no downside to it no matter what the cost. All right, gonna jump out for a quick break. We come back. Fisheries What You Need to Know will be presented by Better Homes and Gardens Pacific Commons. Our buddy Matt Messing, Tommy, he's been out messing around there in Area 10, chasing the Resident Coho for quite some time, and now with the Chinook opener today, we got a whole new report.
And he hit pay dirt.
He hit pay dirt. Matt Messing, we come back from this break right here at Fish on Northwest. The new leader in heavy gauge aluminum boats. Allied boats have standard reverse chine and lifting rakes to help you plane faster and run at lower RPMs. Allied boats have several models to choose from, ranging from a 19-foot Mustang all the way up to a 32-foot Liberator. So regardless of what type of heavy gauge aluminum boats you are looking for, Allied Boats will have it for you. Contact Allied Boats today to learn more about these incredible fishing machines.
Hi, this is Joe and Megan from Archery World. We have 4 store locations. We are at the Lacey location right now. I just want to highlight some of our camping gear. We have Mystery Ranch packs. We have crispy boots. We have 6-hour optics. We carry Havalon knives. We carry Garmin products as well. So it's not just archery. We want to try to make this one-stop shopping for you guys. And so if you need it and it puts you in the outdoors, we probably have it. So come down and see us.
Sportco, an outdoor emporium, is the largest local outfitter in the Northwest since 1975, providing thousands of people affordable outdoor gear. This summer, make your next outdoor adventure more affordable by shopping at our warehouse-style pricing. We are a local Scotty dealer, offering sales, service, and repair. Located in Fife and Seattle, come visit us today. The outdoors await you.
All right, welcome back to Fish on Northwest. Tommy, I'm trying to maintain here. My voice can hold out.
Man, I thought you were going to break down and start crying.
Oh, it wasn't that. I was getting all choked up about kokanee. No, it's more so this doggone getting over this sinus infection. Hey, Matt Messing, Messin Around Fishing Charters, longtime friend. Glad to have you finally back on the show, buddy. How are you?
Doing great. Had an awesome day out there today.
That's fantastic. So you've been out chasing Resident Coho prior to today, which was the Chinook opener. But let's just back up real quick, let everybody know how the Resident Coho fishing has been going. Has it been a struggle, or has it been been doing okay?
It's kind of been a struggle. It's been all over the place. These fish are not doing anything that you can really pattern or get them dialed down. They're just everywhere and anywhere, and it's been random.
Interesting.
But
tricky coho.
There's good quality size to them. I mean, they're getting big.
That's good. It looks, we're looking at a picture of those coho right now, Matt. Looks good. Looks really good. So tell us, break it down for us. Depth of water, depth on the wire. How are you catching these fish? What flasher? What lure? Any scent? Give us the complete detail.
All right, herring age flasher. Your chartreuse splatterback hoochies. Hoochies has been the number one big time going. Lemon lime flasher, white hoochie, glow, UV. And until about halfway today, I started throwing some spoons out there and started getting a lot more action. The gold herring aid spoon and the glow cop car
what
with
size?
the silver back, you know.
Number 2s?
3.5 and 4 inch.
Really?
I'm sticking with big stuff, guy. You throw anything small down there and you're getting shakers. You're getting some little guys. And I avoid shakers like the plague. You know?
Good tip. And that's interesting. You said the gold herring aid, if I heard you correctly. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
You don't hear that very often.
No,
I've
you
got
don't.
a few of those. Can't wait to run them.
Yep. So
111's been a really good depth. That's kind of been my magic number the last couple days. But a lot of coho action from 35 to 55, and then you run it at 111. It's kind of a 50-50 shot. You're either getting one of those big fat coho down there feeding on some herring, or you're going to get a nice king.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So 35 to 111. Gotcha. Anywhere in between. Are you finding as the sun comes up, are you going deeper?
No. I'm sticking that same numbers, Like I said, the last couple of days, that low slack has really been putting out the bite.
Yeah.
What are you finding on the electronics? When you look at your ring and the sonar, are you seeing these fish? Is that why you're fishing that depth even early in the morning?
Yep. I'm seeing fish everywhere. You got a nice line of fish around, 35 to 60 kind of in there. And then there's enough, there's a whole bunch down there at the bait, a lot of bait just kind of hanging out at 100 feet, a lot of marks right on top of that. That's just, it's fishy. There's so much out there. It looks great.
That's good.
Perfect. Hey, opening day Chinook today. How'd that go for you?
Good. Went really good. We got a few. Lost a few, let a few go, but I seen some action out there. Sounds like some guys did pretty good elsewhere as well. Area 9 sounded like they put out a few fish, and it was a good day. It's not red hot yet. We're still missing a big bulk of these Chinook. We're waiting for them to start coming in here, but I think a lot of blackmouth got caught today.
Hey, so tell us a little bit about the tide. You said you have, and I think you've been getting your best bite, even with the coho, on the low slack. So are you getting it leading into the low slack, like the end of the ebb or the beginning of the flood? Kind of dial that in for us.
Yeah, beginning, just right after slack, it gets set off. Right as the water turns and starts coming back in, starts flooding again. That really seems to be keying on these fish right now.
Huh.
Wow.
Interesting.
And it's last couple of days, the bites been getting a little bit longer and longer. It's kind of going on for a little bit more. It was, like a, kind of 20-30 minute bite. I think today, gosh, it had to have gone on for an hour, 2 hours. I ran a morning trip.
That's like an ocean bite.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So I ran my morning, turned around, got right back out in the afternoon, and fish were still there, and we were whacking them as soon as we got back on the water again.
Huh.
Awesome.
Perfect. Real quick on these Chinook. You're marking a lot of bait, and you get most of them things right down on the deck. Where are you pulling those Chinook from?
Like I said, about 111, 111, 120 has kind of been what I've been running. That's where I found them today.
Gotcha.
Cut one of them open, found a nice 4-inch herring in there, and then also found like a little 2-inch, little tiny guy in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
So
I'm really glad to see that these fish are finally full of bait.
Feeding in.
Feeding them.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And getting big. So, hey, Matt, do you have any openings coming up, and how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, guys, I got some dates. I got some afternoons, get a hold of me, 360-621-2681. Just give me a call, and I'll get you in.
Perfect.
So I'm running mornings, afternoons, and if those are both full, then I will go ahead and run an evening trip if I have to.
Look at that guy.
Awesome.
Hardest working guy in Puget Sound.
Yeah. Love it.
Fantastic.
I'm here to put fish in the freezer.
Yes, you are, and doing a fantastic job. All right, buddy. Always great to hear from you. Always appreciate the information, and we'll be out there on the water with you soon.
All right, guys. Fish on.
You got it, man. Take care.
Take care.
Matt Messin Around Fishing Charters. Frequents the show, has been here in studio. Tommy, the guy gets it done, and just a pleasure to spend the day with him.
And he's a really nice guy.
Really
too.
have a good time with him.
Takes out all skill levels. So
yes, he does.
Right on, Matt.
All right, we'll jump out for a quick 2-minute break. We come back. Hey, what's going on in our backyard, Tommy? Lots of openings and closings, things to get.
We do, and some goofy ones,
and some really weird parameters, like within this opening or closing.
Right, and you did what? Yeah.
So we got to figure that all out. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. Be back here in a couple minutes. Fish on Northwest.
Contract Security Service provides day-to-day peace of mind as they protect people
and property. Here at Phoenix, we provide service for multiple state and federal contracts with services ranging from uniform, patrol, alarm monitoring, canine detection, executive protection, as well as investigative work. Recruiting highly qualified officers is the first step in building a strong team. If you are prior military or law enforcement, go to www.phoenixprotectivecorps.com and apply today.
New days, new beginnings, new friends, new loves, new dreams, new goals, new scenery, new job. No matter what the next chapter holds, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate will be there to help you find the new that's right for your lifestyle at any stage of your life. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Expect better.
All right, welcome back, Fish on Northwest. Hey, you know, this throat lozenge might...
Is that going to do it?
I think it might get it done.
Okay.
I think I might be able to hang in there without hacking all over my desk here.
Good.
So, appreciate you guys putting up with me this evening. This is a little bit tough to get through, just getting off of this sickness that kept us sidelined last week.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
It didn't keep you from fishing, though.
Well, that was before.
Yeah.
I mean, that put me over the...
That put you over the top.
That was too much.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
Yes, yeah. Scott Cole felt terrible. He just kept taking blame. He's like, I did that. I was like, no, you didn't do that. So I could have said no. Anyway, we'll get into that a little bit later here, actually, within this segment towards the end. Tommy, In Our Backyard, presented by Phoenix Protective Corp, phoenixprotectivecorp.com. Openings and closings, man. We got a lot of stuff going on that it's almost hard to keep track of. Some of this we're catching up on because we've been out in the studio for a couple of weeks, but there are some folks that don't really understand or recognize some of the parameters that we're working with in here.
I know. So, you know, the way this works, especially with all of the ocean fisheries, is you've got your Chinook quota, you got your Coho quota, and Chinook fishing has been on fire pretty much anywhere you go on the coast, whether it's Westport, Nia Bay, La Push, Area 1, down off the Columbia River, doesn't matter. And so, you know, we saw an early shutdown of Nia Bay. Talk about that in a second. But we just got word, right, a few days ago that CQ is going to every other day, right, which is kind of interesting. All that pressure that was in Nia Bay and all the quota that was taken early on, shutting down Area 4, really just slid everybody over into Area 5, and CQ fishing has been good as well. Yeah. And now that quota is in danger. So when you look at the Chinook and the Coho quota, you go, oh man, we're eating up the Chinook quota. Now, if you were to achieve 100% take on the Chinook quota, you're done for Coho because you used up your impacts, right? So they got to protect that Coho season.
No encounter,
with how big of a Coho run we're getting this year. You got to maintain, right? And so that's why we're seeing CQ going to every other day. And I don't like to see opening and closing like that because it hurts the community. But it is what it is. It's every other day that you can fish for salmon right now in Area 5.
Which, so, I mean, you go out there and you're going to plan a 2-day trip. You're going to fish Tuesday and Wednesday. You're going to, you know, fish one day for salmon, another day for bottom fish.
Right, that's a good way to split it up.
That's a good way to split it up. I mean, either that or you're just, you don't just stumble across CQ and Nia Bay.
No.
It's like, it's a commitment, right? So you want to make sure you get your bang for the buck, and that's the way you're going to split that up now. And that actually was imposed July 5th. It's been in place for, you know, better part of a week and a half now, and it goes all the way through the end of the month. It's just something we're subjected to, and your point is valid. If we're going to have access to those Coho, we can't eat up all our impacts on these Chinook, or we're completely off the water. That makes no sense because there are a ton of hatchery Coho coming.
Right. So the closure is warranted. It may be goofy, but it's warranted.
Yeah, I agree. So also something that caught a lot of folks by surprise here, you know, salmon fishing suspended south, central Puget Sound, Marine Area 11. which actually began yesterday, July 13th, right? We had 72 hours on the opener originally, which was based on a quota that we were up against in nanosecond, like done. You guys are off the water, right?
It was here and then gone.
And it's like, okay, well, July 1st will be here, and we get, opportunity to get back on the water, and boom. Guess what? Or not July 1st, but we ended up with 6 days. We got 6 days of opportunity back on Area 11, and boom, they pulled the plug on that. Again, monitoring the impacts and trying to get us later in the season and get that August fishery opportunity. We don't have eyes on it. We don't know how truly accurate we're gauging the amount of pressure, the impacts, the encounter rates, whether it's against the sublegals or your wild fish encounters, native fish. So there's all these different models that are running and factoring in. And if any one of those sends up a red flag, it's like, whoop, got to shut it down, or we don't get to do this later on.
Right. And that's the same thing that happened in Nia Bay. Opened June 18th. And then right around July 4th, I can't remember if it was 4th or the 5th, it was like, hey, we're eating up the Chinook quota. We got to shut it down. Yep. I think that took a lot of people by surprise because, the fishing has been really good, but not everybody was catching, and there really wasn't a lot of pressure seen in Area 4. Yeah. So that's where I think anglers are saying, well, how are you counting? Like, what is the assumption? I think, and that's a good topic for a later show that I think we should cover. Is how to go through the math. How does it work, and how do they take real time data during the season, right? But they are going to reopen it July 25th west of the Manila Tatoosh line. Now, that's good. Fishing should still be good for maybe another week, maybe a little bit more. And then I would say once you get into August, there's an offshore run of kings that will come down the prairie that's really headed to some of those Oregon rivers, and those are some beastly salmon if you want to make the run. Right. So it's kind of a little bit of a red herring. Maybe it's orange. So you get a little bit more opportunity in Area 4 west of the Manila Tatoosh line. East of that line, August 1st is going to be when it reopens. And again, that's so that the Chinook can kind of pass through, and then it'll open for Coho, and it's game on. And it's going to be game on for Coho.
Basically what we're up against here in all of these, if you look at the language or the verbiage they're utilizing, closure or partial opening or every other day or skip fishing or whatever we're doing, it's all in an effort to prolong season at a later date and opportunity, and of course it's all quota based and it's all encounter rate. It's really what it comes down to, and there is a tremendous amount of effort, recreational effort as of late. There's been a tremendous uptick in fishing, recreational fishing since 2020, and we're seeing some of that on the waters, daily now, and I mean, let's face it, there aren't as many people working your normal 9 to 5, 5 days a week now. You got all these funky, wonky schedules out there that allow people to get in these morning fisheries, late afternoon, early evening fisheries, and it's putting more pressure, more encounter rate on a lot of these fisheries
and we finally got our ocean conditions recovered.
Oh, true.
So, like, the salmon are banging right now. They're just out there in hordes. Everybody's getting them. And I got to mention Westport, too, because now they're starting that discussion like, hey, we fought hard to get 7 days a week in Westport, right? We do not want to lose that. But at the same time, we got to watch that quota and say, okay, at what point do we need to suspend or alter that season in order to save the Coho in Area 2? So that discussion has started. I think they're not as far along in their quota, so you're not going to see that happen. I would hope not soon. But definitely another one that could be on the chopping block.
We'll get into a little bit of that later as we touch on Area 1 and what's going on there to lessen, again, impacts on this abundance of salmon that is out there in our ocean water. So speaking of abundance of salmon, how about 604,000?
That's a good number.
Just shy of. By tomorrow morning, it'll definitely be 604,000. Sockeye over Bonneville. Now, I got the invite last week. I wasn't feeling 100%, but I wasn't going to pass it up to get out there and fish with Scott Cole and Chris Turvey of Brad's Killer Fishing Gear. And let me tell you, went there to the Wanapum area just below the dam, and it is the, do you think the Drano 500 is something? This is combat boat fishing, bumper to bumper. I mean, it is.
Talladega Nights, huh?
Oh, dude, it is something else. And depending on how much water they're throwing over that dam, the turbulence of that water coming at you.
Oh, really?
Oh, there's boats that get sucked out into that stuff. Chris told me every year there's at least one boat that goes down.
Oh, no kidding.
This is not a beginner's game by any means, right?
Okay.
You're going around in circles. You're staying away from other boats. At times we were rod tip to rod tip or pulling in rods because you're getting too close to boats. And
wow.
It is hectic and frantic. And let me tell you, the sockeye fishing and the Chinook we got. I mean, that one right there was north of 20 pounds. It was a good 22-pound Chinook at least.
That's awesome.
That was on a prawn spinner.
Ah, your specialty.
Little prawn spinner for sockeye. All of a sudden, that rod doubles over, right? So
King's like, I'll take that.
Yeah. But the prawn spinner is a go-to prawn spinner with a blade and/or max mile blade. I got a bunch of those made up, ready to go here when we go sockeye fishing this next week. Mm-hmm. But man, do not underestimate the incredible production out of the Brad's mini cut plug and the Kokanee cut plug.
Yeah.
I've used those before on other stretches of the Columbia for Chinook. They flat out pounce those Kokanee cut plugs. It is unbelievable. Fill them with tuna.
And that's kind of a misnomer, right? It's called the Kokanee cut plug. It's kind of like the Coho Killer, right?
It is,
it's
exactly.
Like something that you would use, but the Kings just love it.
They absolutely go after that small bait and presentation. And it all has, it really is. It's about presentation. Troll speed. Chris does a phenomenal job. The right amount of weight, fishing those river currents, using that the Brad's 360 dynamite flasher, man, that 360 revolutionary flasher with the breakaway.
Yeah, I got to see that system.
That thing works fantastic. I'm going to employ those more in my arsenal this year, especially at buoy 10. There's no reason not to. That thing is, it's a game changer. Put that in front of a mini cut plug or a Kokanee cut plug. Seahawk was working fantastic as far as color scheme, and about 32 inches a leader, so you got lots of whip on that thing. And I'm telling you, the sockeye grabbed that, the Chinook grab it. The prawn spinner or coon shrimp for sockeye, sand shrimp, whatever, have been synonymous for years. That's what everybody's been going to. To watch these Brad's cut plugs, these mini cut plugs, and these Kokanee cut plugs perform so well for sockeye stuffed with tuna has nothing to do with anything that resembles a coon shrimp whatsoever.
Right.
Scent is completely different. Right? And yet they are just hammering them things. It was impressive. And we'll be deploying
everybody loves tuna.
Everything loves tuna.
Does.
Ask Jordan. Everything eats tuna. So it was just a pleasure to get out with those guys. We had a fantastic day. We put 24 sockeye in the cooler, about 30-something of them to the boat. And we got 6 or 7 Chinook, kept 4 of those big hatchery fish. Phenomenal day.
Well, and Shane Vanderlinde, he called it, I was going to say it, elephants eat peanuts.
They do too.
They do.
They absolutely do. So it was just a pleasure to be out with those boys. We got more to come with them. I have so much video content to break down. Chris does a great job explaining some of the lures in production by Brad's. We're going to break some of that stuff down in tutorials and things to come in the future. Can't wait to unload that stuff for you guys here in the next couple weeks. So, all right. With that, mister, we ran a little long in our first half of the show. No big deal. We'll find our way to get through this. We're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back. We're going to be in the bait lab. Now, Matt kind of mentioned small baits, and catching sublegals. I'm a little on the fence on that in some regards, based on depth, and I'll go into that here in the bait lab. Some of the alternatives I use for Resident Coho has been successful the last couple of years. Going to break that down when we come back from this break right here at Fish on Northwest.
Sergeant Daniel Moulter began his tour of duty on October 21st, 1996, and ended his tour on June 27th, 2020. On the authority of Constable Carlos B. Lopez of the Travis County Constable's Office, Precinct 5, badge number 504 is officially retired, and Sergeant Dale Moulter is 1042. Godspeed, Sergeant Moulter.
Honoring fallen law officers of 2021. The 2022 End of Watch Ride begins in May from Spokane, Washington. The ride across the country to honor the men and women of law enforcement who paid the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our communities will cover more than 23,000 miles. We ride to ensure that no fallen officer or their family is ever forgotten. EOW relies on sponsors and donations to cover this cost. Please consider donating to help support the families and departments of the fallen officers. You can donate by visiting our website at www.endofwatchride.com/donate. Please support the Blue.
Hi, we're Joe and Megan Malico, owners of Archery World up here in Lacey.
We're a full pro shop, so we have full pro service also. We have a huge indoor range. We carry 11 bow lines, all the major bow lines, and then there's subsidiary companies too. Like if we carry Bowtech, we carry Diamond. If we carry Matthews, we carry Mission.
When you come in, we're going to ask you, what kind of price point you're looking for. What's your hope, what's your goals with this bow, and with that information in mind, we'll point you in the direction of, that price point bows, and then maybe give you the option to test fire, maybe a higher level bow, just so you can compare. But it really is all about getting what it is that's going to work for you.
We don't upsell anyone. They shoot it, they like it, they don't like it, they don't get it. We don't operate like that. And so if you need it and it puts you in the outdoors, we probably have it. So come down and see us.
Welcome back, Fish on Northwest. We are here in the Bait Lab for this week's How-To. Bait Lab presentation is brought to you by Max Lure and, of course, Sportco. Check out everything that we often present here at sportco.com. So, lots of options when you're targeting Resident Coho. Now, today is the official Chinook opener, Area 9, Area 10, and so we're actually able to go and target Chinook, but you're allowed to keep one Chinook, and after that, you're going after Coho. And right now, still, this time of year, we don't have a lot of ocean migrant coho showing up in Puget Sound. So we are truly targeting those Resident Coho. And our buddy Matt was on the phone earlier. He gave us some parameters of finding fish anywhere from 35 to 111 foot deep, and would be the case historically. Last few years I've been up and around that area looking for fish. I'm finding them 30, 35, 50 feet, maybe 70, but we are in the upper water column. And because of that, a couple years ago we started actually fishing Kokanee rods for our Resident Coho. A lot of these fish can be 3 to 5 pounds, and on a Kokanee rod like this HSR, it's about an 8-foot rod, but this thing's rated. This edge rod is rated at a 6 to 15. It'll get it done all day long for Resident Coho, and will actually do okay if you hook upwards of a 10-pound Chinook, for example. They have done it. They work fine. Like to spool it up with at least 30-pound braid, put a 25-pound top shot on there, and then meter it down in your presentation. You're going to break that down to about a 20-pound. And the only reason I do that, using 20-pound fluorocarbon is on this smaller presentation is, in fact, if you do hook a Chinook, you want to try to get that fish in an ample amount of time if you can't retain it. So, you don't have to go with the Kokanee rods for your presentation. You can stay with your 1065s and your 10.5-foot rods, downrigger fishing. If you do get that Chinook, you're geared up to handle it. If you want to scale it down and enjoy what these Resident Coho can offer to you, that's why we do it, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. So in doing that, I also pare down my presentation. You see on the table here, we got a variety of different flashers, and yes, Dodgers. A lot of people forget that the Dodger works pretty darn well, even in the saltwater, in attractability and in the presentation and how it draws those smaller coho in. So what do we got on the table here? Well, yeah, we can use our 11-inch flashers, and a lot of us do. Even when we're targeting Resident Coho, that is a go-to that a lot of folks will stick with. Nothing wrong with that. One thing I'm kind of partial to is now switching to the Brad's New Revolutionary 360. This is a breakaway flasher, and it's a 10-inch flasher, and it's extremely light. And I would put this on my Kokanee rod to go after Resident Coho. If you're thinking about, well, if I bring that gear up without a fish, releasing that flasher, and I'm using a Kokanee rod, I'm going to have to drag that flasher through the water. It's not really that difficult. If you're thinking lure change or adding scent or checking for weeds or whatever it is to bring your gear up, just let the downrigger bring it up. Bring it up to the surface on clip, you reel it in. You're only fishing 30 or 40 feet behind the boat. So to have this 10-inch flasher on your Kokanee rod is not that big a deal, and it'll handle it just fine. You can scale it down even more. Some of the things I've done in the past, I like to run the 8-inch 360 flashers. Those work really well. And Max Lure makes an 8-inch Dodger. Put a little bend in that Dodger right here, and boy, you want to talk about some back and forth action. This thing will really get wagging whatever it is you're dragging behind it. You can drop down to the 6-inch. I prefer the 8-inch size. We want to have plenty of attractability, and especially if we're fishing shallower than deeper. If we're up in that 50 foot or higher and we get a lot of sun filtration through the water, these size of attractors work very well. So I'll stick with these 8-inch. I'll go with the Dodgers. You can go with the sling blade, though. I didn't have any of the 9-inch. I would prefer to use the 9-inch sling blade versus the 6. I'm also going to make sure I put some type of scent or attractant on my Dodgers. I like that extra scent in the water, and for me, this time of year, tuna is always a good choice, but you know, we're looking at what is in the water that these small coho are going after, and predominantly right now they're feeding on a lot of krill and they're switching over to herring. Our herring in the sound right now, typically as we get to the front edge of summer, is 2 to 3 inches from the spring hatch. And you'll see a lot of them out there in your marinas and stuff. You look around the docks, you see those small bait balls, those herring balls swimming in the marinas. They're 2 to 3 inches. And that is why I started changing up the size of my presentation when I'm targeting coho in the upper water column, not dropping down deep going after kings. Again, that's why I've lightened up my gear and go with smaller presentation. So some things that I like to use. We mentioned it before for the sockeye, the Brad's cut plugs, the mini cut plug and the Kokanee cut plug, fantastic size lures for Resident Coho. They do very well. Seahawk color gets it done. Hot melon is another one that gets it done. These flat out perform. Stuff them with tuna or put some fire gel, Potskis fire gel on the belly of these things and fish them behind your Dodgers, behind your flashers. If you're going behind a flasher, I run those at 32 inches. I like a lot of whip, a lot of spin, lots of action. If I'm going to put it behind a Dodger, I'm going to shorten that up to even about 24 inches because I really want that thing whipping back and forth as it's spinning. A 24-inch leader behind a Dodger is perfectly acceptable. It works great. If I'm behind a flasher, which is rotating 360, I'm going to go with about a 32 to 34-inch leader. Some other options. Spoons, obviously, Silver Horde, Kingfisher spoons. The number 2s, 2-inch spoon. Notice I got the pink pearl and I got the herring aid. Why? Pink pearl and herring aid matching the krill, matching the small herring. And on these pink spoons, in this pink glow, I'll put on a little UV hoochie, little tail wagger, just to extend out the presentation, has a little more action on there. Again, we're trying to mimic some of the krill and the balls of krill that are in the water, so any type of additional action I can get on that spoon seems to produce pretty well. I will put my scent right on the backs of these spoons as well. I'll put some krill scent on these pink spoons. I'll put my herring, my fire gel herring, right on the backs of these spoons. And don't be afraid to even put a little dab of anise on there. Those fish really seem to respond to anise. So one of the bigger changes I've done is I've incorporated some of our Silver Horde, different types of ace high flies, different sizes, and I've incorporated those with the Max Lure Smile Blade, and for good reason. So here's your standard ace high fly, full size. I don't typically use those for my Resident Coho. Again, I like to scale it down a little bit. Here's your needlefish. It has the same size head as your ace high fly junior, but you're going to see the profile as far as length of bait is substantially different. I like to use the herring aid pattern. I like to use this pink with glow. Again, I'm trying to replicate the small herring in the sound and the krill. Okay, these colors tend to seem to be very consistent in how they perform, and so I've stuck with them for the last couple of years because they just keep getting it done. So over here you can see what I've done with some of these lures. Now this is an ace high fly needle fish, and the nice thing is you can cut that back to whatever size bait you want. So I left that one at about 3 inches, cut it off just a little bit to make it a smaller presentation. On top of that I put a bead, and this one has a Purple Haze 1.1 smile blade. Okay, that smile blade on the front of that thing, along with it wagging behind a Dodger or a flasher and rotating, that smile blade gives an extra element of attractability, flash, and UV. So this small pink ace high fly junior, I've put on the pink 0.08, which has worked fantastic. I don't know what it is, just in combination with that smile blade, it's basically like an oversized Kokanee lure is all we've built here out of these ace high flies. This one here is the needlefish, and I've cut it to about 3 inches or so to replicate that herring. If that herring in the sound is at 3 inches or so, and I put this UV burst glow smile blade on there. Now what that does is as that oscillates back and forth and moves around and it captures sunlight and gives that infrequent flash, because again, nothing in nature swims or walks in straight lines, right? So those fish are moving all the time. One thing I noticed years ago is when I was standing in a marina and there's a ball of small herring coming through around the docks. And as they're swimming and you see them, they're green and black, every so often there's always one or multiple ones that are pitching onto their side. And when they pitch to their side, they give off a nice flash and they reflect off the sunlight. So as you watch that bait working through the marina and you see all that dark green and black and then that periodic flash, I thought, oh, I'm going to put that glow burst smile blade in front of that herring aid and I'm going to go after Resident Coho. And for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, they're not telling me exactly other than the results. This thing flat out puts Resident Coho in the boat. I'm not worried about encounter rate on sublegals. If I find I'm having a day where I'm getting too many sublegals, I'm going to go to bigger presentation, obviously. But I am going to start off with this smaller presentation, 35 feet down, 50 feet down, upwards of 70 feet down. Find where my electronics will let me know there are fish, and I'm going to target those Resident Coho, those smaller coho with a smaller presentation, almost albeit a Kokanee presentation style with smile blades and small hoochie presentation. Another one that works really well is this double rig that I've put together. This is a herring aid, sardine size, 2-inch hoochie, and I put that over the top of a glow sardine 2-inch hoochie. So now you have UV, you have herring aid color contrast, you have glow, and on top of that I put the 1.1 max smile blade in the glow burst UV, and that one there really gets it done, especially on cloudy days where we need a little more light in the water, a little more UV presentation, a little more glow. We all know that UV and glow in combination, Puget Sound gets results. That one right there with the UV and glow inserted skirt will get it done time and time again. So just some options, just some things to think about. An alternative when you're going after the Resident Coho specifically in Puget Sound, these are some options I like to use. Okay, don't go anywhere. We're going to jump out for a couple-minute break. Tell me now I'll be back in studio right after this.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima boats are manufactured with pride in Bremerton, Washington. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why Arima boats are backed with a lifetime warranty. Arima can offer every boat with Honda outboard packages so that you can take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Call or stop by Arima boats today and let them help you get into your very next boat.
If you're looking for the best fishing rods in the world, you really do need to take a look at the Edge rods. I designed and built new machinery, and I think this new machinery has enabled us to build blanks like no other company can build without this equipment. There is no other rods in the world that are as good as these rods. You owe it to yourself to take a good look at them.
All right, welcome back here in studio. Dwayne and Tommy Donlan, Fish on Northwest. Boy, these commercial breaks are pretty quick, aren't they?
I know they are quick, but hey, beautiful job in the Bay Lab.
Oh, did you like that?
Man, and I love those smile blades. I'm addicted now.
Yeah, well,
I am.
I am utilizing more and more smile blades. I mean, you saw the benefit of them things in your walleye fishery.
Oh, yeah.
I've used them for coho, even in the ocean. Of course, I mean, when you got a wide open coho bite, does it really matter at times?
Right. Can you walk me through, though, really quick, the 1.1? They got different sizes of smile blades. Mm-hmm. What does the 1.1 indicate? Is that like the width, or do you know, or is it like...
Yeah, it's the length, yeah.
It's the overall length? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So 0.08, I don't know. Britain's supposed to be bringing you a ton of them when we fish on the east side.
We can have that conversation.
Yeah, so that's going to happen. So speaking of which, hey, lots of opportunity out there, Tommy, when it comes to ocean options. What's hot? What's going on?
Yeah, so I want to run down kind of my top picks of where it's hot, right? Where it's hot. And we're we're going to talk a little tuna. We'll talk a little bit halibut, but we're going to start off with Chinook because there's some epic things going on right now. And I would say, first and foremost, if I had to pick one location now, and I know, Nia Bay is closed for the moment until July 25th.
Yes.
I just got an email from WFW. It looks like La Push is headed the same direction for a while as well on the Chinook.
Don't you find it just very hard to digest when we have these forecasts of just an abundance of fish coming, all this opportunity, and then they're like, whoa, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Our encounter rates are too high.
You already caught them. Yeah. It's a little fishy.
It's really hard to swallow.
Yeah. That's why I want to get into the math in a later show. But
okay.
So you got to pick one spot to go in the saltwater for Chinook salmon right now. That is absolutely going to be Westport. Okay. And I got to say, going out into the 250 to just over 300 foot line and catching upriver brights right on the bottom and getting it done in short order, it's hard to beat. It's really hard to beat. It's been an epic bite. Mm-hmm. Guys are going out and they're going, well, the salmon bite is so good. I don't want to just run out there, run the 15-mile run out there, get my 2 or 3 kings, however many people are on the boat, and run back in. So guys are dropping crab pots, right? North of the North Jetty, which has been really productive for crab. And then they're going out and they're getting their kings. And then they're finding some rockfish. They're loading up on rockfish. Beautiful midwater column, brown bombers, the yellowtail rockfish, the canary rockfish. And then they're running in and they're pulling their crab pots. And they've got just this beautiful set of Dungeness crabs. So now you got your
trifecta,
salmon.
Man.
It is.
How about that opportunity?
And even the coho are starting to show up down there.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
So you're getting your one Chinook, you're getting your one coho, then you're getting some crab, you're getting some rockfish. So, if I had to pick one spot right now, it's Westport. And even if you don't have a boat, there's some charters down there that are running these combo trips. So Mark Coleman's little brother, not so little, Mitch.
Yeah, sorry,
Mitch Coleman, captain of Angler's Edge.
Yep.
He's doing these combo trips.
Yes, he is.
They got the crab dialed, man. Mitch does. And then I think Daryl Far Corners is also doing some of these combos trips. So, if you want to do that combo trip and get in on that Chinook bite, but get some crab, maybe get some rockfish, talk to the charters and make sure what all is included in the trip. And I know Mark's guys are also running the combo Chinook rockfish trips.
Yeah.
So you get a mixed bag of fillets. Fishing's really good. That's the number one spot.
Well, you know what that does? I mean, it does more than just for the outfitter, because you as a paying customer, you want to run out 15 miles. I mean, they bump into 12 miles. It takes nothing to get out 12 miles.
Right.
Drop lines. You got 4 people on the boat. Get your Chinook. All right, let's go in. It's like 9:30.
Right.
It's like, wow, that was a couple 150, So I was hoping for a little more. I want to see a whale breach or something, right? It's give me something. This bog's not even off the water yet. So good on those guys for expanding their opportunity and giving people really something to be held, because this is not like an every year thing here.
Well, yeah, I know. I love what they're doing with the combo trips. And then, on that same note, when, after we get through the summer season into the winter, Daryl does run some winter crab trips out of Westport. So you want to go down and catch just some, rock hard, cold water Dungeness crab when there's not a whole lot else going on.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Area 1 has been phenomenal as well.
Yes.
In fact, so phenomenal that we have a closure there as well. And it's kind of that area that's kind of the middle mouth of the Columbia, and then everything that's near shore. Some of the prime trolling lanes, some of the prime area that you would fish. And so you can still fish offshore, but I believe they've reduced kind of the take offshore, and you can have one Chinook, I believe. But again, Area 1 is still a great option, but you can't fish that prime water. So we'll see how that goes.
16th?
Yeah, the 16th. Yep. Which is just in 2 days. Yep. July 16th. That
a little bit another adjustment, boundary adjustment. That was agreed to by WDFW, ODFW, and NOAA.
I saw that.
They're looking at that in that boundary area they're imposing, because they want to really stave off, high encounter rate, which is subject to high mortality rate and just an early closure of fisheries, obviously. So here we are again. It's a balancing act, man. It's like we got so many fish in the air, and they're just trying to figure out where it all fits and trying to extend these seasons. And it's not always, it doesn't sit well with us.
No,
it's hard to understand.
It's hard to take. It's hard to understand. You always ask the question, well, how did they get to this answer, right? How are they counting fish?
Yes.
And so that's a big discussion to be had as well. So after that, I would have said, La Push, but I think here in a couple of days, La Push is going to be shut down as well temporarily. Right. But after that, I would go to CQ. I mean, even with the day on, day off schedule, fishing's been good. And out of CQ, you kind of have trolling lanes. You can fish literally right outside the kelp beds in 60 feet of water.
Yeah.
And get the kings right up against the kelp beds.
And that's something.
Or you can go all the way out to 300 feet of water and fish it like you do Swiftsure Bank. Downrigger balls on the bottom or close to the bottom, in the bottom 100 feet, and get kings that way too. So you really have to, those fish do shift in and shift out, and they kind of follow the bait.
Who doesn't want to do 50 and 60 foot of water for Chinook?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, sign me up.
Yep, that's epic.
Sign me up.
That's epic.
When you drop it down on a hot anchovy bite like we experienced last year, and you don't even get the rod in the rod holder and that thing's blowing up, it's like there's nothing.
Every time down. Yep.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And then even on the off days, you do have bottom fish. You still have bottom fish opportunity in Area 4.
Yeah.
So you can run from CQ back over to the Nia Bay area and catch rockfish, lingcod, come back. So, you could kind of plan that as your second day. We're starting to hear some numbers of tuna.
Yes.
Now, they're not off our waters. They're not off our coast, but they are off Southern Oregon. So guys that are running out of Coos Bay, Winchester Bay, they're running about 50 miles, 55 miles, and they're getting into them.
Yeah.
So we just need those fish to kind of keep coming up, keep coming up. So we're looking for that highway, that tuna highway, to develop a little bit more.
Sure.
I know Mark Coleman's commercial boat, the Julius C, went out. They got into some tuna.
Yep.
We should have him on in a week or so and kind of tell us what what's going on.
A little forecasting, what he's seeing already.
Right.
Do you know how far out they were?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I haven't talked to Mark yet.
Yeah.
But we'll have him on the show. And then the other thing that's really good news that we didn't have last year is we got anchovies now in Westport. We got live bait, live anchovies, which we did not have at all in Westport.
Unless you were a charter.
But even then, they even limited the charters. Right? They're like, we have so few anchovies.
This year it's wide open. This year it's wide open.
Right. So far. So
okay.
So that's good to see, because that tells you the ecosystem is back into balance.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that is some indicator as to why the tuna fishing last year was down.
Sure.
So we'll see how that develops, but keeping an eye on tuna. We got the Washington Tuna Classic coming up here the first weekend in August 5th and 6th. So we're really looking forward to that. We're going to be down there for that event.
We are.
That's going to be phenomenal.
More to come on that by next week for sure. We'll delve into that.
Halibut fishing? It's still going on, ladies and gentlemen.
Can you believe that?
I know. It's epic. Area 4, Area 3. I mean, it's been good. It's never really stopped being good. It's actually gotten better, if I had to call it. And then, it's so good, and there's so much quota left that I would expect there to be a discussion around moving some of that quota back to Westport and maybe having a few more days in Westport.
There's your combo trip.
Opportunity.
There's your combo trip.
Halibut, Chinook, Coho, rockfish, lingcod, crab. Somebody pull that off? If you can pull that off, I want to see it.
That would be epic.
Yep.
Wouldn't that be epic?
Yes.
It'd be a long day, but that'd be epic.
It's worth it. And so
100%.
And so that kind of wraps up the saltwater viewpoint.
Hey, before we get out of here, I want to remind everybody, we got this prize pack on my desk, Tommy.
You do.
That Shing was gracious enough to bring in here, and this is sponsored by Max Lure, and we got a ton of great stuff in there. I had put a post out on Facebook to say, hey, we need 150 people tuning in to give this thing away. So for everybody that's tuned in right now, you better reach out to your phone tree, your social media platforms, and get this out there. Invite your friends. We're going to give this away, and it couldn't be any easier than how one would go about winning this thing when we get to that point. But I got to see 150 people on here collectively, both Facebook and YouTube collectively. You can watch the numbers here. We'll let you know we got 150 people on. But we're going to jump out for a quick break. And when we come back, these numbers need to be ticking on the uptick.
Yeah, we need to see them up there.
Because we really want to give this away. We got some Potskis corn in there and a whole bunch of Max Lures, lots of Kokanee stuff, trout stuff, some salmon stuff. Got a bait towel, got a hat, Shing's thrown in there. I mean, we got all kinds of great stuff. Really good price bag, well worth over $100. Want to give that away to some lucky winner, but let's go. Let's get these numbers ticking up just for the giveaway. We're good with that. We're not proud. All right, we're going to do that. Jump out for a quick couple-minute break, come back. Big announcement coming, closing out the show and giving away this prize pack if the numbers allow us to do so. Do all that right here, Fishing on Northwest.
All Defiance boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why all boats are backed with a lifetime warranty. All Defiance boats come standard with large fish boxes that are fully insulated so that you can ice your fish properly all day. All Defiance boats are foam flotation filled and unsinkable for the ultimate in safety while fishing offshore. Before you buy any boat, stop by or call Defiance Boats today to ensure you are getting the very best glass boat your money can buy. Cutbacks in funding and fewer law enforcement resources are affecting our businesses and communities. If your business is feeling the effects, Phoenix Protective may be the solution you are looking for. They offer security solutions customized to meet your needs. From remote video monitoring in their 24-hour control center to a proactive, experienced security professional on site, Phoenix Protective has over 20 years experience in ensuring the safety of their customers. Team members are highly trained and proactive, giving them the ability to adjust to the changing needs of their customers. Customers choose to work with Phoenix Protective because they provide the next level in security support to industries such as schools, hospitals, transit, and utilities. For a security assessment to see how Phoenix Protective can help you and your business, visit their website at www.phoenixprotectivecorps.com and select Contact.
All right, welcome back, Fishing Northwest. Tommy, as we close out the show, got a couple things going on here. If I can find my page of info that I've misplaced. Here we go. Hey, starting tomorrow, the 15th and 16th, we have the Wenatchee Salmon Derby. Starts tomorrow. This is put on by CCA over there on the east side. The 9th annual Pete Floor Memorial Wenatchee Salmon Derby is returning to the shores of Columbia River. 15 and 16, encouraging all anglers, all ages and skill levels to participate in this amazing conservation event. Supporting CCA, over $7,500 in prizes, in addition to exciting raffles and more. For more information, please visit WenatcheeSalmonDerby.com. Still got time to sign up for that, and if you're on the east side, I would recommend participating. If nothing else, you're definitely going to catch some fish, because there are a lot of fish in that Columbia River, in case you haven't figured that out. All right, Tommy, what do we got going on? What is the earth-shattering news that you were so eager to share with everybody that you've been making me kind of throw out there and, bait everybody to say, hey, we got some stuff going on?
Do you have a vest in the price pack?
No vest, Andy.
No vest in the price pack?
Not even going to look at who put that on there. I just know it's Andy.
Yeah, it is. It is.
He's got a vest fetish. A fetish, if you will.
What have I been baiting you into saying? I don't know. I can't imagine what that would be.
So, hey, we have been doing this show now for a little over 3.5 years. And we developed or created this show with the intent of not just solely residing on social media. The intent was, and the reason it's formatted the way it is with commercial breaks and whatnot, is to hopefully someday get it onto a network production. And we have. That time has come, my friend. We have worked hard, and we are heading down that road. And pretty darn excited. So each week we will continue to do our live stream show here Thursday evening at 6 p.m. We're going to work very hard to fit within the time restraints that we're obligated to do so, and it'll pretty much for here on out be a 1-hour show as we reformat. But yeah, it'll be seen on Root Sports pretty much every Saturday and Sunday morning. They're going to repeat our first half hour of our show. So the first half hour of our show each and every week will then be forwarded on up. There's some additional editing, network editing that has to happen, but they're taking our product that we are creating here in the humble studios at Fish on Northwest, and they are putting us on Root Sports, which, that's a 5-state coverage, buddy.
It is.
That is yes, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, we're coming for you, and Alaska. So we're pretty excited with the fact that we've created something out of a studio. They looked at it and said, this is plug and play.
Right.
We're all in. And Root is happy to have us on board, and we're excited to be able to get on network television, and we're going to do our best. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Sound effects guy. Jordan's excited. He's going to be the production head here on the show, as he's been doing such an outstanding job moving forward. And we got some equipment changes coming.
We do. That's exciting too. That's going to change the game.
Yeah, we're really tired of doing this phone call call stuff, so we're getting upgraded here with the availability to do live Zoom interaction and
with video capability.
Video capability, yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So pretty exciting stuff, man. We're gonna don't think we're going away here on Thursday night. This is where this is where the bread is made. This is where we're obligated to do our live show each and every week, and then a portion of that is spooled up and then will be broadcast on Root Sports. So you can catch us probably. Each show will be re-aired like 3 times throughout the week on Root, which is pretty exciting.
It's going to be really fast-paced, too, because we're slamming a lot of segments into a very short amount of time.
Yes, yeah. It would do us a solid if, we're going to do the very best we can to impress the folks over there at Root, and hopefully we somehow land an hour.
Yeah.
We need an hour.
Right.
Because the first half hour is going to fly by. We're going to get a couple segments in. We're going to highlight what it is that's going on each and every week and try to get that. But for all you folks that are tuning in for the live stream, and or if you watch it later in the weekend, like a lot of you do, to get caught up on what it is we got going on, we'll continue that full hour show. So we will have first half hour ideally for Root. You'll hear us sign off from Root, and we'll continue with that second half hour for the live stream and fit in the rest of the content that we feel we're obligated to bring, Tommy, each and every week, at least a full hour.
Absolutely.
So pretty exciting stuff. So we didn't quite hit our 150. Hey, thanks. Lots of folks on here giving us the congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Like to thank you. Hey, we also got somebody on here from what is that, Jordan? I forget what that. Can't remember what the name of that other platform is there. So Twitch, thank you. Yeah, we had somebody on there from Twitch. Okay, how about that? Good stuff. All right, appreciate everybody jumping on here. Wish I could get Root on Dish Network. Says a no-go. Well, D, no worries. You can at least still catch us here live every Thursday. We're going to basically do the same show live every Thursday, a little faster pace, a little uptick, lots of coverage of great content, and we're going to work our way through the show week in and week out, our presentation. And if you can catch it on Root, great. If you can't, join us here every Thursday. We're still going to be live and relevant each and every week. So yes, pretty exciting stuff. Okay, we didn't hit our 150 folks, Tommy, but I'm sitting on a bunch of this Max gear.
So you're going to give it to me?
No, because I got another big box of stuff coming for you this weekend when we get over there and start fishing. So, yeah, what do you think? A number between... let me see. I don't have my pen.
Here you go. You need one?
No, I got this one right here.
All right, there you go.
We'll go with this right here. I just wrote that one down so you can see it. I'm going to show this to you, my good man.
You wrote it in highlighter.
I know.
Oh, that's a good number.
That's a good number. So, number between 1 and 100. First one to post it up here. 1 and 100 is going to win this prize pack. That's how we're closing out the show tonight. We're just going to sit here and wait till we see the number we're looking for between 1 and 100. Jordan, curious what the number is? Yeah, it's moving. All right, I'm watching. Here we go.
Man,
keep it
people
moving.
Are close.
Oh, I know. Yep. Keep it going.
People are really close.
It's freaking flying too. It is going. Just keep going. Keep submitting, folks.
Man.
Yep. Keep going.
People were so close at the beginning.
Yeah. There's one that's one off.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, saw that. And
we're trying to help everybody here.
We are trying to help everybody. There's Shane's off by a couple, and Rusty. Keep it going, folks. No better way to close out the show, in my opinion. Not seen it yet. You got it yet, Tommy?
No, I have not. Okay,
still going.
This is not a quadratic formula. Just pick a number.
1 to 100.
We're
so close. Squally Dave, so close. Yes. Figure that couldn't be a bigger clue right there, right?
Oh my goodness.
Are we there? Without me just saying the number, Squally Dave, you totally went the wrong way.
There's only 100 numbers.
Yeah, there's only 100 numbers, and we have yet to have anybody hit this exact number. For what it's worth. Okay, we're kind of there. Sue's very close. Not seen it yet. Sue, you went way off kilter there when you jumped to that particular number. There it is.
There we go.
Melina
Marvel.
Yep.
McEwen.
Yep, McEwen. Melina Marvel.
All right.
McEwen. Okay, Melina, hey, go ahead and message us. Facebook or YouTube. Get us your information. Phone number would work. Sherry will give you a call, and we'll get your address and whatnot and ship that out to you in the next few days during the week or through the weekend. So appreciate everybody playing. The number was 74, and yeah, we got ourselves a winner. So hopefully you can utilize this. And Andy, -1, -1. Go figure. Yeah,
1.2.
Yeah. He's a banker, so apparently that does fit somewhere between 1 and 100, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Any final thoughts? Any parting words?
Man, I'm ready to go fishing on the east side. I'm ready to get out
so a couple days over there, Brewster, man. Brewster, we're coming for you. The 21-foot Mustang Outlight is going to be on the waters, surrounded by just a few other boats, by the way.
Yeah. And I have the best wife in the world. I'll just say that now. And the best mama to my children. We had a new baby girl about a month ago.
Yes.
And she is going to, I will say, let me go with you over to the east side, spend a couple days over there, and leave her with just an absolutely raging 2-year-old son. He's crazy.
His last name is Donlin.
Yeah.
So, we'll just start and stop right there.
Yeah.
Hey, if all goes according to plan, we are going to be live streaming from the Brewster Pool as we're whacking and stacking the sockeye and the Chinook salmon, fishing with our buddies Bob Loomis and Britton Ransford and who else is going? Oh yeah, Richie Hurd.
Richie.
We'll be staying at Richie. So really looking forward to it. Always a pleasure to hang out with those guys. And we're going to be chasing sockeye and Chinook up there at the Brewster Pool. So can't wait for that. Hoping to bring you guys some great content. And again, if it all goes according to plan, we're going to be streaming that live so you can, if you're stuck at work, at least check out the morning time. See us reeling in a few fish for you. So, all right, it's going to do it for us this week here. Change is coming, and next week it's going to be even a little more fast-paced than it was tonight.
Yes,
we're going to be on the clock. Got to be on the clock next week, and new equipment and the whole deal. So we're pretty excited. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Had a really great time. Pleasure to be back in studio with you all, and we will see you next Thursday right here in the Fish on Northwest Studios, 6 p.m. Have a great week.